We rolling?
We're fucking rolling.
We're rolling.
We're blinking.
Okay. What's good, everybody? It's your boy Zoetic. You are tuned in to the return of the Grain of Salt show. It's been a long time. It's been like 2 years since we put out our last episode. We did a 5D special, had some individual interviews with every single one of us, broke down our origins, who we're all about, you know, how long we've been making music, things like that. So if you want to hear that, please tune in to that shit's on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and it is on my Patreon.com/Zoetic5D. So I guess the first thing I want to say is, just bring the podcast back, and I feel more comfortable calling it a podcast now, because before I was just playing some tracks, talking for a little bit, but now I think I'm really ready to go into the deep dives and the breakdowns and analytic, all the shit that I do, nerd out about music. I'm ready to finally put it out there, show a different side of my personality, and just these conversations that, you know, we all have as homies and friends, and, you know, music debates. It's been happening for a long time. I kind of just want to bring that to this, and I feel like it's my responsibility to kind of document what's happening today in music. You know, I strive to be a music historian one day, and I feel like I just need a little bit more experience, and I really want to document my generation the way that people that I learn from are documenting theirs, you know. And I feel like this is really where I want to be the platform for just the new voices and everything that it's influenced by, and everything that's gonna be influenced by it. So I'm really excited to bring this back. I'm sitting here with my homies. I got my boy Danger to the left of me.
What's up?
I got my boy EyeSea Beats to the left of him.
Howdy.
And going forward, what we're gonna do is, this is gonna be a monthly thing now. So we're gonna have some topics. We're gonna talk about some music things and things that we're listening to, stuff like that, new music. But we're also gonna break down what we're putting out and the reasons why we're putting them out. You know, processes, discussing the processes, and just everything that goes behind it, because there's just so much more behind the music. So I think going forward, what I want to do is I want to holler at my boy EyeSea Beats, man. He just put out a new project. It's called Reality Check. It's on all platforms now. And I guess the first thing that I want to ask you is just tell the people out there who may not have heard it or are even familiar with us what you're doing on there and what they can expect from your newest project.
Okay, so EyeSea Beats here, you know what it is. Just dropped the new beat tape, all instrumental. It is called Reality Check, which I feel like is very fitting for the time where I'm at in life right now. Been in we've been at the same job for 4 years. Moved to Colorado. Been at that same job until just recently, and basically felt like I had to go through some life changes to continue the forward motion in life, basically. This instrumental album was definitely influenced and inspired by a lot of more modern music these days coming out. Definitely got a little bit new, like a new vibe to it. And you know, it's just a lot of the beats I make is kind of like the boom bap old school style. I wanted to put something out that a lot of people would feel like it was more modern and easier to listen to, easier to loop, stuff like that, but also still having a lot of meaning and I hate to say pain, but for lack of better words, pain going into the music. And I feel like Reality Check was just very fitting for going out of an old job that we felt like we were in a rut in, and really moving on to something new, a new step in whatever, a new page in life, basically, right? And that's turning the page. Being able to drop this album was huge for me personally, just to put the stuff out that I felt like needed to be put out before I just sat on my computer for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, man, you know, listen to the project back and forth a few times, man, and you set a vibe for your projects, you know what I mean? I feel like the last couple projects, like Isolation, Mountain Vibes, you really found a sound that your production kind of revolved around.
Yeah.
How do you, because, you know, most of the times I'm right here next to you while you're making some beats, and sometimes things are random, but when you put together a project, how do you figure out what the sound is going to revolve around?
I mean, this one was very obvious to me, honestly, of what I needed to do in order to move on to the next stage of producing for myself. And that was really just getting recent beats that I felt were top tier of what I've produced so far in my producing game, and get them out for the people to hear. Like I said before, the relevance and the really feeling of it kind of just fades away. Because as weird as that is, that's kind of what happens to not all music that you make, but you lose the relevance and you lose that feeling that you first had when you made the song or made the beat. And honestly, it just kind of came together for me. This was kind of an unplanned album, but yeah, I'd say in November, December, decided to put together the project and kind of go with the vibe that I decided was going to be modern and, you know, just full of good feelings and bad feelings and any feelings at all, really. It's really just to capture emotion through whoever's listening to it, the individual that's listening to it. I want them to have the connection with how I felt when I made that song or whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. As long as there's a connection to whoever is listening to the music, then my job is complete, right? That's really all I wanted from that.
Yeah, I think you did a good job of that, man. You know, your production is definitely getting more diverse, you know, even with your sample flipping is getting more. You're just trying different things, you're playing with the instruments, you're trying different sounds, and I think it really shows in this latest project, and it's pretty nice, man.
Oh, yeah.
So what can we expect from you going forward? What do you want to do? Do you want to experiment? Do you want to do more of the same thing? What do you want to do?
I mean, I feel like the ball is not stopping at this point. I mean, the production is basically just, all it takes is sitting down and it kind of just naturally comes out as soon as I take the time and really just concentrate on, I'm going to make something, the ball is rolling. You know, I mean, it no longer takes a ton of effort or thought to just like, I want to make this or I want to make that. It just kind of like the influence is there. And that's the beautiful thing about sampling too, is you can come in not totally influenced by, or not influenced by something, but taking the inspiration from someone else and really using it as your own. Some people may hate on that, but I mean, I love making original music too, but everybody knows that it's hard to make original music consistently, and it's hard to come out with something that you have an idea for in your head and put it down on physical, on an audio workstation or anything like that. So sample flipping to me is really nice to just grab some inspiration, be able to work it into your workflow, and I feel like the chances of success, in my opinion, are much higher for me to put out a high quality instrumental.
Makes sense, man. There's an art to sample flipping too. You know, people can say what they want about it, but at the end of the day, not just hip hop music today is really based on samples, and even with people just replaying samples and like finding new ways to get around those laws and shit, like there's definitely a new generation of music that's built on the backs of samples, basically.
Definitely.
Reinterpolations, whatever you want to call it, you know. I think you do it exceptionally well. You can hear it in the music, you know, and yeah, man, just keep going.
It's a
man.
way of giving credit too. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It can be a
definitely.
way of showing respect
Yeah.
in a lot of
Paying
ways. And
homage.
it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you should be able to give credit and take inspiration you get from somebody else, use it as your own, and flip it, and still be able to maintain
Definitely.
yeah.
that level of respect with the original
Definitely.
artist. Absolutely.
It's just like a new car to get to your destination, basically. You know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can change that shit as much as you want. Oh, it's good shit, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for
appreciate
speaking
it.
on your project.
Most
man.
definitely.
Thanks for giving a
We
little more.
got plenty more coming as well. Another. I mean, I'm not gonna leak anything, but we got, Tony Toe Tags is always coming up with new stuff.
Of course.
The Deuces Wild crew will be coming up with some new stuff. Me and Dangerlin are always coming up with new stuff. So
Dangerlin's always cooking.
it is always happening, man. I'm thinking first it's probably gonna be a Toe Tags project, shortly followed by either a Dangerlin or something, man. I mean, something will always be coming out. So, and it's been last year, with the dropping 10 albums, and then we're 2 or 1 album in this year.
This year, yeah, we've only dropped Tony Toe Tag so far, but we're working. We got a lot of stuff coming. So.
I was gonna say the wave is gonna be coming in the later part of the year.
We always operate in the summertime. We always thrive in the summertime.
Absolutely.
Musically.
So I think that's a good transition. For now, I want to ask you, Danger. I know it's been a little while since you dropped your last project, but I feel like you hadn't had the platform yet to really discuss it and get into what you were doing with your last project, Mood Food 3, deep cuts. It was very, very quality. Every single one of your albums has just been progression.
Thank you.
I think the first question I want to ask you, because the last time we did this, I don't even think Mood Food 2 was out the last time we did this. But I want to ask you about how you evolved from just feeling like, because you've said this before, how you just felt like you were soloing over Ian's beats to where by the time Mood Food 3 comes around, you're producing this shit yourself. Ian's helping out, he'll throw drums, help you arrange things like that. But at the end of the day, you're the one who put that project together from front to back. So that's what the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you find the progression from just playing solos over beats to producing top to bottom a project?
Well, Mood Food, the series Mood Food started out with exactly that. I was just soloing over some of Ian's beats.
Yeah.
Mood Food started when 2017 we moved to Colorado, and Ian and I were on. We had been planning to move to Colorado for years, down in New Mexico, and we had finally made it happen, and it wasn't just me and Ian. Anthony jumped in on the bandwagon there a few years after we had even started planning there. I started dating Madi, Madi moved up with us. We all had this awesome apartment out there, and we had the studio set up right in the living room, as always, and it was, especially for those first few months, that was the center of our attention.
Oh yeah.
Big old snowstorms snowing us in and getting those beats started. It's exactly what it was for me. Practicing soloing. I love lead guitar, rock and roll, soloing. I've always loved the opportunity to introduce that type of music. So eventually, the first Mood Food was a collaboration album between Ian and I, 100% 50-50. Ian's beats, my guitar solos, or loops or something, and it was also I was just getting into the blues aspect of my guitar, which, if you know me, that whole thing has shaped and molded my whole input of freestyle, improv guitar. I love that, So moving on to Mood Food 2, it was definitely more of a continuation. Let's give it more. Let's practice on the guitar. Let's give it a couple more aspects, a couple more layers. Let's try and, make it better, even more melodic. It was the outcome of Mood Food 2, what we actually got out of it, that really kind of set the tone for Deep Cuts, Mood Food 3. Because after a couple of Mood Food 2, there was On the Rocks. The second track, Mood Food 2 On the Rocks, was a beat that Ian had in his computer for 10 years, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is mine. I was like, whenever I'm not ready for it now, but I'm gonna be ready for it one day.
Yeah.
And there's certain tracks, a couple of other ones from Mood Food 2 that really like hit me personally.
Yeah.
So Mood Food 3, and I got a couple second chances with the computer crashes.
Right.
Okay, so I lost my project right before Mood Food 2 was put out, and then had to bounce back and come up with a few of those tracks like that, you know, because we didn't have them saved elsewhere.
Yeah.
I had to bounce back from that and come up with those. So I got a couple second chances, a little bit more practice, and I think the outcome was nice, you know. And the same thing happened for Mood Food 3.
Yeah.
I had a few
Yeah.
projects in the work. I had a few really good songs in the works, some things that I had just kind of, you know, come across one day, and you know, some, you know, unfortunate events happen, you know.
5D is infamous for losing music.
Yeah, and so it kind of gave me, you know, it kind of set me back a little bit for sure, but it also gives you time to think, and you know, I think everything that happens for a reason ultimately,
Of course.
right? And so it kind of gave me an opportunity to rethink the way that I want to deliver it. And Mood Food 3, I really wanted to capture the listeners, was the goal for Mood Food 3 Deep Cuts.
Yeah.
And just as Ian was saying, like, music from artist to listener should be a direct translation of emotion. And you can deliver emotion through music in multiple different outlets, such as lyrics, or beats, or guitar, or bass, or keys, you know, or saxophone, or, you know, whatever your gig is.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to translate it any way that you see fit, especially if it's your music, you know, or if you're paying tribute to another artist and you're doing it in your own way. Like, you should be able to express yourself in any way.
Yeah. That's a good segue actually to the next question that I want to ask you, because your sound is very, you've been working at the sound for a long time. It's I think you do a good job at showing your influences but putting a fresh spin on it. Tell me how you're able to do that. Tell me how you're able to be derivative without emulating.
That's a good question. So some of my influences that directly come into my sound through guitar, obviously, be Stevie Ray Vaughan. I've mentioned him before. If you know me, that is a huge, definitely beginner influence into the blues. More recently, Tom Misch has got a lighter touch and a more modern approach with a huge respect for blues and classics, you know, and other artists and stuff. I know Jay Dilla was a huge inspiration of Tom Misch, and you can kind of tell in some of his beats. And I bring him up because that's the latest that I've been listening to, and over and over and over again. He always comes up on my playlist.
He changed the way people made music.
Absolutely, you know, and so that was a lot of inspirations for my latest projects too, that you could probably get glimpses of. So how I try to do that is, you know, tone through the guitar. I mean, you can get a really nice guitar, you can get a certain gauge of strings, you can get the best quality cables and effects, or, you know, amps, whatever. But, you know, the feeling comes straight through the fingers, you know. It's how you hit the strings. It all comes into it, you know. There's so many dynamics, like a golf swing, you know. Playing guitar and hitting the guitar, there's so many dynamics in the left hand and the right hand, in certain ways that you do that. That's kind of what I try to bring from Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know. I bring his aggressiveness in the solos and the, you know, and try to hit those things. And then more recently with my beat production, I've been trying to hit like more melodic, different style, you know, notes to appreciate some of the jazz, you know, the jazz guitar that I don't know, but I would like to appreciate more, you know. Some things from Tom Misch, just, you know, a little bit lighter. I mean, there's a lot more guitarists and other groups who I take inspiration from. But I mean, Ian mentioned on how, you know, it's hard to come up with your own music these days, because there's only so many notes, and there's a lot, you know, there's a lot of different notes, and a lot of melodies end up being, oh, like that's the same as this song over here, and yeah, I mean, can't put a trademark on a chord progression, but it's gonna sound the same, you know, and it's hard to come up with stuff like that, but it's really interesting to force yourself to learn how to navigate that whole grid of chords and different notes that you can hit.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, man. I mean, I feel like the way that you do it is, you know, like you said, there's only a finite amount of notes, right? But I feel like it's the same thing as saying like there's a finite amount of colors, right? And no matter what you do, you're able to make those colors something brand new and something original, even if it is calling back to something that's very influential to you. You know, I think we all do that very well, you know, especially with our newer music, the newer things that we're doing. I think we have a good way of finding ourselves within other music, you know, and it's something that we've been working a long time at building up to this shit, man. So, so tell me, Mr. Dangerlin, what can we expect from you going forward? What do you want to do in the future? Do you want to experiment? Do you want to continue? What do you want to do?
Absolutely, you can expect more shit for sure. My next project's gonna be definitely more thought out. Like each one is, you know, it gets the mountain only gets steeper, you know, but I'm gonna keep climbing it. It's just I need for myself, you know, before I want to put it out for anyone else. For myself, I want to be at a certain level. I want to do more lyrics. I want to get those more involved. I still have awesome instrumentals. I'm definitely planning on keeping Gator close by for those. You know, trying to get some beats out there. I had a feature from Deuces Wild on the last album.
Absolutely.
I want to try to kind of just broaden the horizon of what we can do with guitar. Now, moving on from that, I know that I want to do a little cover album, a little cover project with some tributes and just kind of pay my respect and kind of just let some listeners know that this is what I like to jam to. Like, Absolutely. You know, maybe here's a familiar tune for you, some stuff like that. I just think that'd be fun, and it would also be a nice little practice, you know, just to kind of develop a little bit more skills, kind of honing in. Lately, I've been circling back to a lot of old artists that I haven't listened to in a while, and D'Angelo. I want to get into some more R&B and stuff and work with you. I know we've been getting some stuff in the works there too. So, you know, I definitely expect stuff. I can't say anything this year for sure, but you never know. Sometimes things happen in mysterious ways.
Of course.
I mean, you know me, and we'll be dropping something for sure.
Yeah,
it'll happen.
We'll get
Definitely.
Just to touch on something with Andy real quick. It's pretty cool listening to an album of Andy's and being able to hear people that I am acquainted with but not best friends with, be able to pick out that artist and say, oh, I know who this is, based on hearing it 2 months ago and then hearing everything else that they listened to and then going back to that album and then being able to distinguish your guitar playing versus, just like you said, all of your other influence, Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Tom Misch, Eric Clapton, any guitarists like that, like they're still able to distinguish and pick out, this is your music from that album, you know what I mean? Which is crazy to me.
That's dope.
Thank you, man.
Definitely
something to be proud of.
And that happened many times, because where me and Isaac used to work at, we had a big opportunity to listen to music constantly, and I feel like that was really nice because we could listen. A group of people would be listening to the same music through one person's phone, right? So that was really cool. It gave us a good opportunity to kind of show our music and showcase what we do without really shoving it down people's throats, because in a way it was kind of like either way you're gonna listen to it,
right.
But it wasn't a forced reaction. It wasn't a forced like, hey, you need to listen to my music right now kind of mindset. You know what I mean? It was just thrown in the workplace, and open ears were able to take it in. Basically.
I think it was cool because it was an unbiased perspective, right? We're playing our music mixed in with playlists of other people's music that we're listening to. So it's like, you know, it's kind of like a comparison of like, okay, how does this sound compared to like some industry standard shit?
Yeah.
You know, and people didn't even know it was us, basically. You know, it was basically just, it cut through, man. It was quality. I think the progressions we've made, you know, specifically since like 2019, when we really started hitting the pavement hard, we've just sharpened our blade, man. It's gotten to a point where we can now establish new things, you know, because we've already built what's here, and now it's just like throwing new recipes into it, basically,
right,
and seeing what can come out of it. So definitely looking forward to the future. As far as me, you know, I've put out, you know, I'm always putting out, working on music, man. It's something that it's just inside of me, man. I'm always constantly working. Since we did the last podcast, I've put out a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? It's been like 4, 5, 6 projects since then. So I'm not gonna sit here and break down each one of those projects. Just know that I've been on my damn grind, been experimenting, trying different genres and trying different styles of rap to challenge myself. I believe Deuce's Wild 2 is a really big progression in me and Tones stylistically, the way we make music. We tried different things. We tried things we didn't do, and we also did things that we do well. So I feel like that project, it's the best project that I've put out. I believe, you know, it's front to back. I believe it's heat.
Definitely.
You know, me and that dude just have such great chemistry. Just building onto it more. Excited to do another one. You know, it's always gonna be on the table. Even though Tone's all the way in New York, you know, it's not that easy to just make music with him, but it's always gonna be something we're working towards.
I was just talking to Ton yesterday. He said that he's finally had a chance. His schedule's been kind of slowing down, and he's finally had a chance to start getting back into the music swing too. We didn't really get to expand past that, but I know that he's cooking some of his own stuff, getting into producing up there.
I know
too.
his wheels are always turning musically.
Well, and he's been able to get back to his producing, which he's been wanting to progress at, you know. And you know, when he puts his mind to something, it's just it's over.
Yeah. The dude is super talented, and I'm just excited to see what he does next going forward. Me and him have had a lot of discussion about what he's gonna do, what he wants to do, and so I'm really looking forward to witnessing his progression too. He's made a lot of progress just in the short time I've known him, so it's gonna be really cool, man. I'm really excited.
Speaking of R&B, some may be coming from Mr. Zoetic here.
Of course. You know, these guys have been along the ride for this new album that I've been working on. It's been quite a while now. I've been working on it. I like to be really efficient with writing and recording. I like to get shit done quick, fast, in and out. But with this new R&B project that I'm working on, I just wanted to be right. You know, the last project I heard, you know, it wasn't terrible. You know, it was good enough to go out, but there's just so much that I would do different now. And there's just vocally, you know, I believe in my songwriting. I think that's my strongest suit. That's kind of what I lean on when it comes to the R&B. I don't think I'm a amazing vocalist. You know, I think I can do enough to carry a well-written song. So
Definitely.
That's really the whole point of this next project. Keeping it short and sweet, but it's gonna be very potent, very concentrated. I really just want to deliver something that I could be proud of, and something that we all as a group could be proud of, because it's new territory, it's new ground. You know, like I said, we're constantly trying out new genres and trying out our styles at it, how we could flip it. And R&B is just something that I finally feel like I'm hitting my stride on.
Definitely.
So
it's
going
a tough
forward,
genre too.
It is
Vocally.
Absolutely, and that's been a challenge. That's why it's taken so long, is because I've taken so long just to record it. But I also want to make sure everything else behind it is right too. So, you guys know me. The marketing and promotion is something that I try to do well, and something that I'm trying to do even better, because this is all just me, basically. I'm trying to do the work of what teams do. So I'm kind of going back and forth about how I want to do it, how I want to present it visually, and things like that. You guys know I focus very hard on that stuff once the music is done. And so as we're wrapping up the music, it's pretty much almost there, almost finished. You know, we're right there towards the finish line. So I'm very excited to put it out.
Yeah,
Kind of
me too.
nervous to put it out, because this is, like I said, it's new stuff. I'm trying new things, of pushing myself, challenging myself. And that's the whole point of all of this, man. I felt like rap was getting a little stagnant, you know, I was getting complacent. I was like,
definitely.
okay, I can just do this in my sleep, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do something that was challenging, help me get better, help me sharpen my sword, and just make me a better songwriter, basically.
Yeah.
So
I think it has too. It's already shown that.
thank you. I appreciate it.
And that genre is very revealing too. It's very like rap. You can just, you know, kind of, I hate to say like fake it to make it, but in rap you can just say you're the best rapper, or come up with a topic and be really good at. But I feel like R&B is more of like a pouring your heart and soul into the lyrics that you're singing, which you're singing, you know, and
It's vulnerable.
it is very vulnerable,
It's vulnerable.
very much so, and it allows the listener to be a critic even more so, you know, because when it comes to that, they're expecting melodies and everything to be perfect, you know, which is, I mean, that's not what music is about. But when it comes to R&B and stuff like that, like,
especially today with auto-tune and things people are able to do, like, I don't want to hide behind that, but I do want to make sure my shit sounds right. So that's kind of where I am right now.
Well, if people think that whoever, Ariana Grande, or Grande, however you say her last name, if people think that she's going in and taking her songs, like doing it in 4 takes and calling it good from there, they're out of their mind, because the hours of engineering and redoing everything, or redoing one simple part and re-engineering that is endless. Endless. And there's a team behind the window. Like, Ariana may be able to come in and knock it out in a day and then come back and knock whatever out, but behind the scenes is hours and hours and hours and hours of effort to make that song sound perfect.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely, you're definitely right. And you know, we don't have a team, but we're doing our best at what we can do, and learning every day, getting better with every project, basically, with mixing and sound engineering. We've come a long way. So
it's only getting better too.
Hell yeah, definitely.
I feel like these next upcoming albums are gonna be the best sonically sounding albums, just because of post like mastering and getting a foundation of the mix really, really well, so the master pops that much better. Because it's, I mean, just like you said, we've been learning this entire process, and obviously made plenty of mistakes. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. Absolutely. Basically. So
we know a lot about that.
I feel like the mix and master in these, I mean, everything from here on out, I'm confident in saying that it will be sonically matched with industry standard.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm very confident in that. And it's only going to get better. And that's the main thing that I feel like our past music struggles with, is competing with industry music that is just coming out mainstream.
And we were just learning, man. And it was just you at the time. You know, you took on that role, and it was a lot to take on.
Definitely.
And you were still learning, so it was like, you know, I don't put any blame on anybody, and the shit still sounds good. You know, it's it doesn't sound terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
It's just, we hear it as musicians, and we're perfectionists, and how far we've come along. And sound engineering, we just hear like we could have did that better, but at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's putting it out there, putting ourselves out there, and showing every side of us, and growing in front of the people, basically. So it's been cool, man. It's been a cool ride. going forward, I want this platform to be something that you guys feel you can come on anytime and speak about what you're feeling through your music, what's going on behind it. Like, you know, I want you guys to be able to come on here and speak about whatever you want when it comes to that shit, you know, because people want to hear it. You know, we put our music out, but that's only one perspective of us, you know, and there's a whole life behind it, you know, as they say, art imitates life. So it's like, we don't get this music without living the life. So
Definitely.
I want you guys to be able to feel comfortable on here with anything, you know.
No, definitely.
Going forward. And something that something going forward that I want you guys to think about is, I want you guys to think about everything that you guys have done to get here, right? The physical things, the physical work that you guys have put in. I want you to really take the next like month to just think about, like, damn, I remember those days when I was working on this and I was working on that, like, and I want you guys to come and speak on that on the next episode, and just think about the actual physical sweat equity that you guys have put into 5D, and I want you guys to express that on the next episode. All right.
Got that for sure.
Okay.
We come with some heat.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So going forward, Grain of Salt Show, man. This is gonna be my platform for me to just nerd out on music. All right. So you guys are probably gonna see a different side of me, like talking about all this music. And right now, the main thing that I want to talk about is, you know, we're about 6 months in. A lot of music has came out this year. Some of it's forgettable. Some of it has lasted. And this is the type of stuff that I really want to tackle as far as documenting this generation's music and the output, the things that I pay attention to. I want to be able to voice my opinion in all of the conversations, from pop, mainstream music, to underground hip hop, to indie rock shit. You know, I really want to participate in all of that, because it all matters. You know, it all comes from somewhere, and it's all going to influence something. So that's what I think is really important going forward. So right now, what I want to do is I want to not break down, but I just want to list some of my favorite projects that have come out this year. Some of them you guys may have heard, some of them you may have not. If you guys are interested, you know what I mean, check them out. The listeners, please check out this stuff. I'm going to be playing some songs based on these things that I'm breaking down, but that is only going to be available on the extended audio version on Patreon. Okay, so that's something that I'll probably repeat every time we do this. Basically, it's gonna be the extended version. If you want to get it just like the old school Grain of Salt show where I was playing music, you could check that shit out only on Patreon. Okay, so going forward, let me just name some of my favorite projects that have come out this year. Some R&B, some hip hop. I think there's a little bit of jazz in here, you know what I'm saying? I listen to a lot of different shit. So first and foremost, Mac Ayers, Magic 8 Ball. Really smooth R&B shit, man. This dude is he plays guitar mostly, but he does multi-instrumentalist. He's very influenced by traditional, like D'Angelo type of R&B, stuff like that, like neo soul stuff. He's very, very dope dude. Magic 8 Ball, one of my favorite projects so far. Stimulator Jones, La Mano. Like, this guy, Stimulator Jones, is one of my favorite artists, man. This dude, another multi-instrumentalist, but this guy is he just blows my mind with the music knowledge, the music instruments that he plays. He'll be on Instagram playing sitars and shit. Like, he's just crazy with it. He put out a jazz album, all instrumental jazz album, and he's just a lot of funk, a lot of jazz influence, man. It's really, really dope. Jasmine Sullivan, Hotels. That was a really dope R&B project that came out early this year. Appy Farah, Overstand. That's another jazz joint, all instrumental, that came out on Stone's Throw. Dame Funk, he put out a few instrumental projects, some real electronic 80s type drum machine funk. Dude is crazy. Your Old Drew, The God Fahim, these guys have put out 2 projects that are just insane, man. These guys are rapping their asses off. Like, I can't even pick which one is my favorite, because these dudes are just going ham. Van Jess, Homegrown. This is real smooth R&B, modern R&B. These girls could sing, harmonize. They're sisters, so they harmonize just differently. You know, when you like siblings harmonizing, it's a
Oh, yeah.
different type of synergy.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and very well written stuff. They've been one of my favorites for a while going forward. Probably my favorite project so far that's dropped this year, Joyce Rice, Overgrown. Modern R&B shit, but with like a 90s kind of flair to it. This girl, Joyce Rice, man, she's been on her grind for a long time. I've been listening to this girl since like 2012. I first heard her on the Dom Kennedy mixtape. She was singing some dope shit on there. And after that, she linked up with a bunch of underground LA producers like Mind Design and Budgie and Alchemist and shit. And she was putting out projects, but she had never put out a full album. So she finally put out this album. She's got Freddie Gibbs on there. She's got some really dope songwriters and producers on there.
Nice.
It's fucking amazing.
I'm gonna get a notepad out. Write these albums down.
I already got some.
Shit.
And what's crazy is this past Friday there was a lot of music that dropped.
Oh yeah.
We had YG and Mozzie put out a project that was insane. Yeah, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but they talking that gangster shit on there. Patrick Page II, the bassist from the internet. This dude put out a rap album, and it's just on some real West Coast shit. Dude is flowing on there. He's killing it. I was very surprised at that one too. Makami linked back up with Westside Gun, and he put out his first project on Griselda in like 5 or 6 years. They went through a lot of shit. They were beefing, then they came back together and they dropped and I'm not a huge fan of Makami. Like, the dude has a really weird style. It's like sometimes it just goes over my head, but this project is like, it delivers. It's really good. I was surprised. Everybody's calling it album of the year so far. I don't know about all that, but it's dope. I enjoyed it. J. Cole, man. J. Cole's new project.
Very good.
He went in, man. He went in. You know, I have a couple criticisms, you know, as far as all the auto-tune singing. I feel like it's a little too much, but in my opinion, I think the rapping kind of just makes up for the places where I think it lacked, because the dude he's spitting on
Yeah,
there.
he says some shit that.
Yeah, he obviously had something to say.
Yeah,
Which he known for.
he sounded like he had a chip on his shoulder.
He definitely.
And he sounded like he had something to prove. Like, he heard everybody talking about the last couple projects kind of being boring,
Right.
and kind of like, you know, which I was kind of saying, you know, I love Cole. I've been a fan of Cole's for a long time, but I just felt like he was becoming a little stagnant. You know, the sound was the same, flows were the same, and it's like, all right, man. But this one, he definitely switched it up. I love the features. You know, you guys know I've been huge on the Lil Baby bandwagon. So, you know, recently it took me a while to get on, but man, this dude has been spazzing on everything.
Oh, this is like the first album he's had features on.
A long time, man.
Long
I think
time.
since Born Sinner,
Yeah.
it's been. And he went on the feature run last year, but I feel like I feel like he approached that like it was an album in itself. Like, he was doing tracks with Moneybagg Yo and fucking the weird. I didn't know I needed this till I got it, but him and 21 Savage are
It's
just
so
so
good.
great together,
It
man. And I'm already a huge 21 Savage fan as it is. I feel like he'd be talking this shit, but when he gets with Cole, it's just different, man.
It
It's and the dude Moray who's singing on that hook, I had just barely heard. He just put out a project a few weeks ago, and he's got a song that's real hot called Quicksand. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Like, he's singing, but he's rapping, and it's trappy, but it's real soulful, kind of like gospel almost.
Nice.
Yeah. Ooh,
But man, he sounded real good on that. J. Cole, you got a good project, man. I can't wait to see, because he's saying this is the setup for, what is he saying, the fall off? He's saying, I think this is gonna be his last album.
Off season and then the fall off.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see where he goes. I think this is a good setup, man. It's
yeah.
cool. It's cool to see the progression, man. I've been listening to this dude for over a decade.
That is good.
So,
I enjoyed he had plenty of like trap influence, and
Yeah,
then
that's-
lots
yeah.
of the OG
Absolutely.
hip hop influence too.
Well, that's
Yeah.
something I think he's always been able to do well. It's like, I mean, you get a lot of hip hoppy stuff from J. Cole, which is kind of where it was like, okay, the next album, like a little bit more. Okay, I mean, he kills it. You know, everybody knows J. Cole can fucking rap, which is awesome. You know, but this one definitely had the trappier beats, the auto tune that you mentioned.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not one for auto-tune either, but I can respect where he came at it as a point to like it was a little bit more with the times.
Yeah, I think it had mixtape feels too.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Oh, and then
He
like
was just having fun.
Well, he's always been able to blend it, balance his tracks so well, and delivering what he needs to say is always his number one successful thing, you know.
You know how songs, and this isn't for every single song, but
Songs are getting shorter these days because the listener wants to hear it immediately, right? So it's not like the society listening to music is kind of like a goldfish. Like you gotta catch that attention immediately or within a few seconds to really get the listener to finish the song. I feel like that's very important these days.
Yeah.
Because shit, go back 20 years, 4.5, 5 minutes a song, even more, you know what I mean? And then now it's like a minute 50 to 2.5, maybe 3 if you want to push a long song.
Yeah.
Which J. Cole still has a couple songs on there that are 5-6 minutes long.
Yeah.
But that's, I feel like, the best way to capture a broad audience these days is to get
in and get out.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, it's kind of brutal to be honest, but
well, it just depends on your repeat value too. You know, if people really like that shit, they'll listen to it over and over and over again.
That's the kind of listener I am. Like, I capture an album and I listen to it on repeat.
Yeah, that's what it is, man.
Until I understand it completely.
So that's actually the good segues. What are you guys bumping this year? Is anything new from this year that you guys are listening to? Something from last year you're still stuck on? What you guys listening to right now?
Well, you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Alright, so my biggest influence, and this is kind of weird because I feel like this album was mainly for a younger generation. I don't want to say females, but it was kind of, the songs were written for females to vibe to, which is kind of weird. But Jack Harlow's new album, I feel like was very, very, it just influenced me a ton. Not the lyrics, not the way he rapped, but the vibe and the instrumentals really were what I was like, holy shit, like this is something new that I haven't heard the combination of like a fly, like very, very nice rapper, you know what I mean? Like I'm clean cut, still respectful. Yeah. I like his playful, like he's playful on the words, but he's not like disrespectful towards women, which I think is awesome. Yeah. But I mean, that's not like I love Jack Harlow, but his album, he's not the reason why I think this album was so great. Okay. The production was awesome for me.
Okay, so it was the production.
The vibe was awesome for me. He says some really cool shit. Like I love what he says in his songs, but just the overall vibe of what I got from it, I feel like was very, very eye-opening for what I want to do in the next coming years. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And it's not didn't change my mind.
No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like it was very huge for me to just be like, wow. Like, I still bump that album all the fucking time, and it's just so good, dude. Yeah, the production is so good.
It's good.
He's got producers on there that are not huge, which is another thing that I love to see. Wallace Lane produced like I think 2 or 3 of his beats on that album. Okay. And dude is, I mean, he's not that poppin', you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just good to see and good to hear production like that is top tier.
That's all that matters.
That's coming from
bedroom producers, basically.
Exactly. Not someone with 1 million followers or Timbaland or Hit Boy. Because, I mean, you could get an album off Hit Boy anytime these days.
Or even that. A lot of times what big producers like that do is they'll take the dude under their wing and they'll put the beat out and it'll say produced by Timbaland, but it was actually this dude who did it. But it's just like, he might have broke him off some bread and he didn't get credit. Yep. But it's cool to see. It's cool to it's cool to hear you mention that as a producer, because people who are relatively unknown, got a placement. And that now opens the door for more business, not just outside of that. Like, you never know who could listen to that and be like, who produced that? Let me get one of them type, and
definitely.
They could just do it.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Goes from there.
What about you, Danger?
I've been listening to some stuff, but you know me. When I just said it too. Like I will chill in a little puddle of
Fully engulfed.
Yeah, like I'll drown myself in a
It's good.
puddle of.
It's good to do that because
artists.
not a lot of people do that. nowadays.
But I've been circling back to some people that I haven't touched on in a while. One of the people that's I downloaded a bunch of his albums a few years back, and I was into it for a while. He's a slide guitarist, AJ Gent, and he's got a band, AJ Gent Band, and he plays over the top of the neck slide guitarist. And then you were talking about some gospel stuff earlier. I mean, this dude. He sings with it. I mean, like this person is just like you feel like you're in a black church choir. Okay. They're just letting their soul out. You know, I mean, it just speaks to you. That was beautiful. He's got a couple albums out that on Apple Music at least. But I came across him on an Instagram video. And I was just like, "Who is that?"
That's a lot of people are being discovered.
It was a point of view. It was like somebody caught him like this at a church, I think. Even you know what I mean. And he was just up there doing his thing with the band, and just beautiful music, beautiful. So I've been kind of touching back on him. I've had his albums in here for a couple years. Because of the R&B that we've been working on, I've been trying to engulf myself a little bit more with a lot of D'Angelo. Just been kind of going through the classics, D'Angelo hits, and then the other artists that he can bring to the table through that. You know, just kind of broaden my experience while still listening to all the other artists. I've even been. I was never really a huge Mac Miller fan. Like I didn't hate Mac Miller. I just he never made it into my puddle. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Lately I think, Marty was playing a couple of his songs, and I was just hearing the production and the instrumentation, some of the songs that I was just hearing it and feeling it that day too, So I've been going through a lot of Mac Miller lately, which is new for me, I mean,
but that's the thing about him too, is as he got older, his music got a lot more deeper, because when he first started the mixtape shit, he was just rapping or some boom bap beats basically, and with every album the production he got more involved in the production, playing keys and playing guitar and drums and shit.
And that's my bread and butter too.
And he just started expanding his sound more and more. He did a whole R&B album, and it's like his sound got a lot deeper as he got older.
His last album was full of just genuine feeling too.
He you can tell he was in a dark place.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And still being able to put out positive music, which is very hard to do.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is like, and it's, it's sad to say, but it's just it's true that, music is emotion, and when you're feeling deep emotion, whether it be good or bad and stuff like that, and music is your outlet, you can tell. The listener can feel that, it's crazy. It's just a testament to how true that is,
And great artists can turn that into something great.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
A couple more things about the music that I've been listening to. We're going to a Jameson concert.
Yes.
So I've been incorporating his songs a little bit back into my playlist that I've been listening to. And I'm just getting excited about that too.
Yeah, me too. They announced it super early. It's in November, but Jameson, that's probably my favorite artist. Overall genres over anything right now. That dude is catalog is amazing, man. I mean, and it's only getting more because he just put out his new single, and since he announced the tour, an album is coming. So I expect more of the same from him. The dude he's been doing these live streams, and he's just kind of like breaking down what's going on, and he's a character.
I was gonna say he's hilarious.
He's a clown
the entire
man.
time too.
Yeah.
And so he's
Clowning on people.
super excited to see what he comes out with next, because he does a great job of being genuine to the sound of his music, but still putting that kind of comedic, like, You know, in his videos, he might be doing some funny shit. Like,
Yeah.
he's a funny dude, man.
He's a knucklehead, man.
And I feel like that's hard. And I feel like when you do embrace your humor, this was something I saw somebody on Twitter talking about a few weeks ago when Redman and Method Man did their verses. Redman, the dude is as skilled of an MC as you could come across. I mean, the dude on stage is just technical, delivery, breath control. Like, the dude is fucking on point. But the theory is that since he embraced such a comedic side to him, you know, doing the how highs and the just being a funny dude that he is, it kind of made people like understate his skill. You know, he was kind of just like, oh, he's the funny dude, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, the dude is nice with it, you know? So I think it's a fine line that you could cross where people start to take you as a joke, you know, when they see you. And I think that can hinder your growth as an artist. So I think it's something that we all something that I want to lean into definitely from my next project, because like I said, I don't know how to completely market this, how to present it, because it's completely different from my rap shit. It's just a different side, you know? So, you know, I like to laugh, so we'll see what I can do if I can lean into the humor.
Perfect example of being able to hold the comedic end of it with still obviously proving as Action Bros. I feel like this guy is the definition of a clown that every MC will respect. But he can just clown, dude.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just who he is.
Yeah.
You can tell. I mean, in the shows that he does, anything like that. But that was my point, was that you can still have the respect of the rap community and the diehard rap fans, and still clown on yourself and everybody else in the process of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Well,
hold on, I'm sorry.
What you got?
A couple more things.
Okay.
I just wanted to shout out Mr. Landon Wordswell, Don Avalar, Ricky.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they dropped an album.
Yeah,
I'm tired.
They've been working on some shit.
Yep, they dropped an album. I'm tired. In 2020, slapped. Every beat was fire, and Landon raps his ass off. And they're dropping another project coming up.
Okay.
I'm not too sure when, but I know it will be recent.
I think maybe
they're
work on some music videos. I think.
Yeah, they're filming
too.
videos.
Yeah,
They're doing promotion.
Yeah.
So they're doing their damn thing.
Dudes from the city?
From Las Cruces. I just wanted to shout them out from
That's what's up.
Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Absolutely. We always trying to put on for the city, man. Anybody trying to put on for the city.
Shouts out Late Night Loki, Logan. You already know what's good. He's always coming up with cool videos and shit like that, and I hope to see a project from him. I've been hearing things for sure.
That's what's up.
I just wanted to shout those guys out.
Absolutely. I mean, while we're at it, I'll give a shout out to Tony Toe Ties and Grizz Adams, man. You know, I know Grizz is off the grid. I know he's expecting a baby soon. Congratulations to him and his lady.
Yeah.
But whenever he feels like he wants to, you know, speak on this show, speak about music, whatever he wants to do, I want him and Tone to be able to come on this show whenever they feel like it.
Definitely.
So, yeah, man. And thank you guys for joining me on this return episode of the Grain of Salt Show. Going forward, what everybody listening can expect is I'm gonna be doing a lot of nerding out on this, you know, as well as promoting our music and things that we got going on. You know, I'm gonna have different segments of artist spotlights and record label stuff, and whenever any of us puts out a project or a song, we're definitely gonna be highlighting it. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. To the people out there, I'm doing a lot of different stuff now. Like I alluded to earlier, you know, we make our music, we put it out, but in these times, it's just not enough. So I'm trying to put a lot more of myself out there via different channels, like my YouTube channel. We're doing weekly uploads on there. Every Monday, a new segment, and just showing you guys a little bit more of my life, who I am, things that I'm into, showing you guys some of my record collection. I'm doing a little cooking show, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be whipping up some stuff. These guys can attest to, you know, the cooking that I be doing, and I feel like it's just another side of me. Special performances, music videos, freestyles, anything you guys want to, you know, check out on there. There's hours of content on the YouTube channel. Exclusive projects will be coming up monthly on my Bandcamp and my Patreon pages. So please be on the lookout for that. Next month, we're going to be doing on Bandcamp a deluxe version of There's a Lot Going On and Deuces Wild 2, the 2 albums that I put out last year. You can have some remixes, acapellas, instrumentals. Of course, always remember to check out the Fifth Dimension official website, fifthdimensionlc.weebly.com. I've been updating it. Pretty soon I'm going to revamp it. I'm going to completely redesign the whole website. But everything that 5D has ever done, coverage, music videos, origins, anything that we've ever done can be found on the website. And the last thing that I want to say is please subscribe to my monthly email newsletter. So I know everything that I just said is a lot to take in, but everything that I'm doing monthly, I'll have direct links in an email to whoever wants it. So please hit me in the comments, DMs, whatever you guys want to, and you'll get that starting at the end of this month. I think that's going to be it for the Return of the Grain of Salt show. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you to my boys for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for
And
having
we'll
me.
catch you guys next month on the next episode of the Grain of Salt show. So peace out. Have a good one.
You doggy.